Hey everyone, it's Matt along with Tracky, and today we're going to talk about Barbados, the newest unit coming out. Stay tuned. All right, I know Dracky enjoys Barbados, and let's just go over him. His leadership effect is interesting, but more for long term than currently. His leadership effect is increases his spell sizz power by 20%. Uh, we're going to talk about his first skill, then kind of go through his awakening because they interact very nicely with each other. His first skill is magical power. Uh, MP consumption of 28 increases his own spell power plus effect by 50% for one turn. Plus, it increases his spell resistance for 3 turns. This, along with his ability to decrease damaged by 15% for 3 turns as his kind of his internal normal skill on top of it really allows for Barbados to be actually somewhat tanky as a unit overall, especially for a mage. He is a demon. We don't have the most amount of demons, so some people might not have a great deal of skills to increase all demons, but still, even without that, he is a pretty beefy magic user. Now, on top of that, his first awakening skill gives restores MP at the start of 2, 4, and 6, and increases spell power and effect for 3 turns on those turns. This is absolutely huge. What Barbados really is, especially on turns 4 and 6, but it still will work from anywhere from 2 through 8. Is that basically what you do is generally you cast magic power on turn 1, burst down with one of the two skills, turn 2, and repeat turns 4 and 6 and 8. Especially 4 and 6, he does a massive amount of damage. So he is a huge burst, but on average does less damage than a lot of other units. So there's a lot of power there, and with a lot of the units, especially in arena and PVE, that we'll be seeing for a little while, when they have less than 30% HP, they basically regenerate all of their health, etc. Barbados is great at avoiding that. Basically, that's what the best thing about Barbados is. The weakness is that it only has one AOE, and it's not its third skill, so it doesn't get powered up. Second skill is the AOE, which is a bang, doesn't get powered up by its own leadership effect. And personally, I think Barbados might be actually, with another B unit, might be a better leader underneath as Baramos. But all in all, still very, very good. AoE skill heal Hellburst, MP 144, very high MP, but inflicts large spell damage to all enemies and occasionally lowers the bang resist. Last one is Hell Flash, large sizz spell damage to one enemy. We've already gone through his first awakening skill. 2 and 4 is Crackle and Sizz resistance, and third and fifth, as always, are third skill upgrade Hell Flash. Hell Flash does do a massive amount of damage. If you are fighting a PvE boss that is weak to Sizz, then this unit is definitely for you. Barbados stats very, very high 1000 HP, 486 MP. I'm not a huge fan of the MP. He does have the MP restore, but the usage to MP ratio here is very low. Yeah, you have the 144. Level 10 will get it down to around 120. But even that with the MP, you're only looking at this is with 5 awakenings, 4 uses of Hellblast, because the MP will basically cover up your magical power, which comes for quote unquote free at that point. So he is a unit that will use up his MP very quickly, even with the MP regen. So just be very careful with that. That's one of his biggest weaknesses, but really the way that you use them that lasts till turn 8 or even 9 roughly, depending on how everything goes. So it's not a huge negative, but just beware. His attack is low as 241. Who cares? Defense 326. So the combination of the two is over 3,000. And remember, he has 15% damage reduction for the first 3 turns. And your first skill that you're going to cast will also give you an additional reduction in damage, basically, for spell resistances on top of it as well. Um, his agility's okay at 357, not good, not bad. Wisdom is pretty good at 420. For the way that he's designed, I wished he had a higher wisdom so that he would really do damage. But all in all, it's all good. Uh, this is probably the one unit where a movement of 2 isn't the biggest issue. His skills are range 3, which aren't super long, but since you're going to probably spend the first turn buffing up yourself for spell power anyways, I don't think that's a big deal for 2 movement, and his weight's obviously 50. Preferred weapon, since he is a story based or story unit, he doesn't have his own festival or event. I'm going to give him the Dark Crystal Staff, plus 28 Wisdom, spell potency 4%. This is from the Mini Metal Trade-In Shop. Spells to look in for alchemy is going to be spell potency, brilliance. I have wisdom on mine. If you're going to be specifically for Barbatos, you're probably going to want MP instead, just to try to improve his MP. If you're lucky and can get the extra 9% spell potency, that's 13% additional for Barbatos, which just melts units at that point. That's kind of the main goal for this, and giving him 28 more wisdom is really fantastic. Really, this is a great weapon for Barbatos if you're going to use it there. His preferred skills is Swoosh Crackle, because he needs a lower MP spell, and he's probably one of the few S units that really will actually use these spells in a longer type battle, just because his 8 MP is going to be used up otherwise by his 2 really big skills. So it is helpful for this specific S unit, as honestly, I don't really care about the learned skills for a lot of S units. This is one of the few where this will be useful if you're going to want to use Barbatos in PvE. And honestly, he's designed fairly well for PvE units, bosses, just because of his ability to melt one unit down from like 50% to 0 from his ability to do massive spell damage. All right, so let's do the pros cons poll. Pros con poll. Good HP for a spell user with the reduction of damage 15% allows him to stay alive to do many spells, which is important because in arena, if you're fighting against a Barbatos, you want to be very careful of its turn 2. It will melt units, especially if they're weak to Sizz. And honestly, with this ability to power up, it is really nice ability. And with that first awakening, as I say, he can do massive damage on those there. He has 2 element attributes with MP regen with that first awakening. It's very nice. It's needed for him, but all it really does is covers the boosting skip part. His MPs for the skip main skills just eat up too much MP for it to be covered by the MP regen. His slow and little movement hurts, but it's not a absolute negative here, and a mediocre attack range and limitations on doing large AoE is his biggest negative, but that mediocre attack range you can kind of ignore because of the ability where he can buff himself up for the next turn. The large AoE limits his usefulness in arena. He does have that bang. If the enemies are grouped together, he can do a pretty nice wipeout. He is usable in arena, but you have to look at the team range. Either you're wanting to use a unit so that he can one shot it on turn two, or a team that is weak to bang that hopefully he can get his AoE there. But with his agility and his movement, he is a little hard to use in arena, but can do some serious damage if used correctly. Will I pull? The answer is no, and it's not a negative on Barbatos. It's more of I really was looking forward to Beast Banner. My resources are relatively low right now, so at this point, I'm taking a little break. I'll probably be back a little bit later. I might use some of my tact points to try for Barbatos. It's a great spell user, can be used. And honestly, with the demons, because if I could get Barbatos, I can get him to +1 fairly easy with the coins, not the coins, the shards. It's kind of worth it because that's where you want Barbados to be is First Awakening. So I'm gonna go with the tickets, but my luck with the tickets is pretty poor. So we'll see what we can do there. The A unit here is Shogum. I love my slimes. I have them all over the place. This isn't the greatest unit, even for slimes. But his leadership effect is actually pretty good. And it's better than some of the S units. It reduces enemies' defense by 10% as a leadership effect. It's pretty nice overall. The big negative I have on him is that his HP and defense combination for a physical unit along with the agility is pretty poor. And he can be one-shotted, so just be careful with Shogum. Store power is just like Barbados's with the increased power effect by 1.5 for one turn. His First Awakening gives him movement +1, which is important again for physical units, especially since he doesn't have very much range. Curse Slash does some decent damage, 175% physical damage to all enemies, and can sometimes curse. And Dual Slice does 95% whoosh damage twice to an enemy and can occasionally lower defense. All in all, his leadership is serviceable, might actually be mean to him. It's a pretty good overall skill for that. I do really, really like it. Its First Awakening is great. It gives +1 movement, but I'm not a huge fan at all of the unit, mostly due to the fact that it just doesn't really do a great deal of damage, and that really, really hurts him. So, what do you guys think? I hope you guys are enjoying this. I will be giving a little bit more details on some of the others. We're reaching into December, so next week I will be doing a preview banner of the next 3 to 4 months again, so that people can understand what's going on and try to make sure that they save for everything that they would like to have. This month's going to be kind of an interesting month. There's not a real main thing going on until January. Actually, that's going to be a pretty big and important overall thing going there for. So stay tuned. I hope you guys are having fun, and more importantly, stay safe. And I will see you guys later. Bye, everyone.